Man, this is Dead End Sports. This is no. I mean, but we
Can't got the itis.
It's not. You know what? It's not the itis, man. We just finished watching the Clippers Rockets Game 7, and by now, if you're watching this video, you know the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead, and not what I was expecting. Man. Before we get into our thoughts about the game and the predictions for the Western Conference Finals, make sure you guys catch us at 9 p.m. every Tuesday on blogtalkradio.com/DeadEndSports. If you can't catch us live, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and catch it on demand. Go to the website, subscribe for the newsletter. We'll keep you updated on the videos and the podcast and other stuff that we're doing. Game 7, man, we saw the game. Chris Paul did everything he could, but he was the only one that showed the heart that we expected from a team that just had a cataclysmic downfall in Game 6, where they were outscored 40-15, up 19, blew a 19-point lead, without Harden on the floor, at home, and we just all thought, at least I did, that in this game the Clippers would have been like, okay, we let y'all get that one. We're going to show y'all that we are the better team, and we're going to come out and beat you down on your home court. Harden didn't really have his game. Right. Howard was okay. You know, the role players, Ariza was great. I think he had 6 or 7 three-pointers, so he champion, right? He has rings. He understands the pressure of the moment, so he stood up. But on Chris Paul's side, it seemed like every time somebody else would get the ball, they were passing to him and asking him to shoot. Yeah. What do you guys think about first the collapse, and then we'll go into the predictions real quick next?
It's just sad, man, because this is not what we thought we'd see from the Clippers. I mean, just you don't see teams. I mean, like we always talk about, you know, in the NBA, you know, everybody makes a run, but I think the thing that's really stuck, I mean, to lose that kind of game, so you're really questioning, are they going to be ready when it comes time to play Game 7? So here comes Game 7, and they don't show up. I mean, like, so you could tell that they've never really recovered from Game 6, and it's unfortunate, man. I feel bad for Chris Paul, because I think he went out there and laid it all out. Blake Griffin, he had the numbers at the end of the day, but his play wasn't indicative of what he did on the court. They got a lot of questions now, you know, because that window is slowly closing. So you got to kind of figure out, where do you go next if you're the Clippers? Do you go out and try to fight? We talked about what they're missing. They're missing a 3 that can get their own shot and dominate. Matt Barnes, not the answer, you know. So I feel for Chris Paul more so than anybody else, because I think he did what he was supposed to do. Unfortunately, he's going to get the criticism for them not winning.
I don't know about that one, because if any person that watches this game, right, game 6, I think that was just on the whole Clipper team. Game 7, that was not on CP. You saw he was the only one with any type of fight, with any moxie left to try to overcome whatever deficit that they had throughout this game. You know, like CP's IQ, like when he fouled Dwight Howard with 1 minute and 20 something to go, with no time coming off of the clock, Dwight missing 2 free throws, them getting the possession, getting a timeout, running a play, and Blake Griffin just lost his marbles. Like, the rim is here, and he's like this. Right. And nobody's guarding him. Yes. That right there, what that showed me was, Doc drew up a play, and Blake said, I'm only doing what's on this play instead of playing basketball. And to me, I can't blame CP. I can't put the brunt of this on him. Of course, he does deserve some blame. You're on the court, right? Like just like he deserved it last year against OKC. That was his fault.
6-2 in the collapse.
So moving forward, Doc has some interesting choices to make. DeAndre is about to be a free agent. How do they move forward? Do you start trading off some assets and trying to, I don't know, but it's very interesting. And you're 100% right, that window is closing.
Rockets and Clippers series. Clippers had the head start in this series. For one, they won Game 1 without Chris Paul. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that
and
right there.
They could have won Game 2.
I'm getting ready to say that. I was like, and then Game 2. Yeah, Game 2, they almost won that, playing with pretty much with house money, because they're like, okay, we already took away home court advantage without our CP3. Then you go in, almost win game 2.
Without CP again.
Yeah, without CP again. And then you go in at home. They split it. No, they won both games at home. I think both of them in blowout fashion. You know, so at that point you would think, you won the home court, and you won the away game without CP3. Then you got 2 blowout home wins. So you would think at this point Houston is like, their confidence is done. They're done. You know, they bite, and you can tell even by their body language, just how they play. You like, I'm thinking like this series is over. I said, there's no way that Clippers lose this. So then they lost game 5. It's okay, yeah. Clippers just took a night off. They took a night off. So I'm like going back home. Game 6. I remember. It's funny. Let me tell you a story because it's funny. I was watching this game. Them 10:30 games be messing me up because I already got to get up early for work. So I watched as much as I could. To like about the 3rd quarter, I went to sleep. I remember the Clippers made like a good run. They went up by like 17 or 18. It was like 4 minutes left to go in the 3rd. I finally like shut down. I'm like, okay, they at home. It's a wrap. I woke up the next morning, I saw y'all tweets and I was like, yeah, something. In my mind, I'm thinking like, well, maybe they just came back and made it a game. I looked on my ESPN because I was watching the local news. I wasn't watching ESPN. I wasn't watching sports at the time, so I was watching local news for traffic. I looked at my ESPN app, I looked at the score, and when I saw they lost, I immediately called Ken. I was like, dude, they lost? He was like, yes, man. And he was telling me how they played the whole 4th quarter because I didn't see the 4th quarter. He was like, man, they didn't do anything. He said they wasn't putting their foot on their throat or nothing. So I was like, what? Yeah. I just couldn't believe it.
And they were at home too. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I, much like you, I fell asleep in the 2nd quarter, woke up in like the middle of the 3rd, and I'm thinking, okay, I need to go to bed. And something just said, man, stay away. It might change a little bit. I wanted to see if the Rockets made it competitive, and then all of a sudden the Rockets start making a run, and now everybody's looking like this can't be happening. Yeah. And Doc kept calling timeout after timeout, and at home, that's the thing that's really. And so, like I said, I get as much as that, and I didn't pick Houston to win this series. I don't even think I picked Houston to get to the 2nd round. So I give Houston credit for being who they were and fighting through this, because they could have easily 90% of the teams would have given up.
Yeah,
so I give props.
I think this makes Houston the 9th team in NBA history to come back from a 3-1 deficit in the series. But yeah, when they was at home, and then when Ken told me that James Harden didn't even play the last 13 minutes of the game, I'm like, wait a minute, wait. I'm like, you telling me at home they lost this big old lead without James Harden? I think Dwight Howard didn't really do much either. And I'm like, they're two quote unquote best players on the team. You know what though? Like,
to me, okay, a lot of people always, they're gonna give flack to the Clippers, rightfully so. They blew the lead at home. You're not supposed to. But let's also give props to the Rockets, and especially Coach Kevin McHale for sticking. No, not even for keep fighting. For sticking with your second unit.
How hard was that to do as a coach? That was really hard, don't you think?
I think it's that hard.
It's not that hard if you trust your team.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that this year, Daryl Morey did a good job of filling out the rest of that roster with the trade for Corey Brewer, for signing a Trevor Ariza, because I think Trevor Ariza gave them Josh Smith. That I'm gonna get to that, but I think Trevor Ariza was extremely big because you didn't lose anything that Chandler Parsons gave you, because he shoots around the same percentage from 3, and you gain a lot more because he's more a defensive player
and more
experience. So a lot of people, how you let Chandler Parsons? I was like, let him go.
Like, you see what he did for that?
Exactly.
He was injured.
And what Trevor Ariza brought to that team, I really liked. And then when they got Corey Brewer and then Josh Smith was very interesting because I've always said, even when Josh Smith was here and Dwight Howard was in LA, I always said trade Josh to go to LA, because Dwight and Josh always wanted to play together in the NBA because they played in AAU. Yeah. So I already knew that was going to work amongst them two, because those two are typically polarizing characters on their teams, but they wanted to play together, and I think that their game kind of complements each other. once they got all of that, and Josh Smith, he was the star game 6. He made 3 big threes. He made a big assist, and he made a big layup that I really felt was the catalyst for that entire run. He put the cherry on top, and he was really the reason why they didn't need James Harden. They didn't need Dwight Howard because he took over. I think he scored like 14 or 18 points in that fourth quarter alone.
Yeah, it's crazy that they pieces that they picked up were the pieces why they came back in that game 6 and won. Trevor Ariza, Corey Brewer, and Josh Smith. Isn't it amazing how Josh Smith was like the joker of the NBA? Like right when the Pistons like, you know, we don't care, we take the cap hit, we letting you go, and then the Pistons went on this like crazy run. Like, look, this proves to us that we didn't need you anyway. And you know, people joning Josh Smith, and then Houston had like a rough start when he first got there, but it's probably just a use of some adjustment in the system. But it was just funny how he was the joker of the NBA, and now it's like this dude is playing the Western Conference Finals now.